So many countries come up with these huge, ambitious national plans. But how often do they actually lead to real change on the ground? Well, today we're diving into Namibia's blueprint for the future, and we're going to look at the massive challenges of turning that grand plan into a gritty reality.
And really, this is the question at the heart of it all, isn't it? It's something every nation grapples with. How do you bridge that huge gap between a document, a plan on paper, and genuine progress for your people?
So let's get into the plan itself. At the center of Namibia's strategy is what's called the Sixth National Development Plan, or NDP6. This thing is a BFD. It's the country's most important policy document. And it wasn't just cooked up in some back room. No, it's the result of some pretty extensive consultations across all 14 regions, talking to everyone from the private sector to the public. What's really cool is the core idea driving this whole thing: development by the people for the people. Now, this isn't just a catchy slogan. It's a fundamental principle that says citizens are the ones who should be driving the transformation, not just sitting back and waiting for it. It really sets the tone for everything else. And wow, are they aiming high? The plan is targeting an annual economic growth rate of 7% or more by 2030. That is a seriously powerful statement of intent.
But, big economic numbers don't always mean much to the person on the street. So the plan also targets a 75% employment rate by 2030. That's a big leap from the 63% they had in 2023. It shows a real focus on putting food on the table and making sure that growth is actually felt in people's everyday lives.
And the plan is definitely looking to the future. It aims to create 30,000 green jobs by 2030, especially in new sectors like green hydrogen. So this isn't just about jobs today, it's about building a modern, sustainable economy for tomorrow. Okay, so the vision is crystal clear. The targets are bold. But we all know this, right? A great plan just isn't enough. The real test is in the execution. And that's where the gritty reality starts to kick in. Turns out a recent review of how Namibia actually makes policy, well, it found some pretty big challenges. The kinds of systemic problems that can stop even the best laid plans dead in their tracks. Let's break down these pitfalls, because they're pretty classic. First, sometimes policies get made without anyone clearly defining what problem they're even trying to solve. Then you've got poor coordination between different government agencies, and the big ones. Often, there's no clear action plan for how to do it, and no system to even check if any of it is working. These are the exact hurdles NDP6 has to somehow jump over. So, how's Namibia planning to do that? Well, NDP6 isn't just a wish list. It has these built-in strategies called game changers. And these are designed to be high-impact initiatives that can tackle those policy pitfalls head-on by focusing on really key sectors and needs.
All right, let's start with what the plan calls a low-hanging fruit: agro-processing. It's a simple idea, really. It just means taking raw farm products and turning them into something more valuable, like canned foods or processed grains, before you sell them.
And check out these targets. They're super concrete. They want to boost the sector's contribution to GDP, slash the amount of food that's lost after harvest from 24% all the way down to 15%, and nearly quadruple the value of exports. See, it's a really targeted strategy to create value, cut waste, and boost the economy, all at the same time.
Another absolutely critical game changer is water. For a dry country like Namibia, a reliable water supply is the foundation for, well, everything: agriculture, industry, life itself. So the plan is focused on modern solutions like desalination, turning seawater into fresh water, and recharging underground water sources to build a resilient water network for the future.
So here's the bottom line. Having smart projects like these is vital. Absolutely. But to avoid those policy pitfalls we talked about, you have to fix the process itself. It's not just about what you plan to do, it's all about how you're going to do it. And that brings us to the nuts and bolts, the mechanisms to make sure this plan actually stays on track. How is Namibia going to move from a document on a shelf to real, measurable progress?
One of the key recommendations is to get really clear on the difference between monitoring and evaluation. Think of it like this. Monitoring is like constantly checking your pulse, right? It's an ongoing process to make small adjustments. Evaluation, on the other hand, is like getting a full medical checkup every few years. It's a deep dive to see if the whole strategy is actually working. You absolutely need both. And this all leads to a new path for accountability. It's pretty straightforward, really. Every single policy has to have a clear action plan. Talking to stakeholders can't just be a box-ticking exercise. It needs to be meaningful. All the reports and documents, make them public. And this is a big one. Bring in an independent element to the monitoring and evaluation to make sure it's objective. These steps are a direct answer to the weaknesses of the old system.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. On one hand, you have Namibia's super ambitious vision. But on the other, you've got this sobering reality of real-world policy challenges. The solution they've come up with is two-pronged. Use those targeted game-changer projects to get wins, but also fundamentally fix the process itself. It's all about bridging that gap between the grand plan and the gritty reality.
Which leaves us with the big question at the end of the day. The blueprint is there. They know what the pitfalls are, and the strategies to get around them have been laid out. Now, the really hard work begins. Can Namibia actually turn this detailed plan into a new reality for its people? Well, only time and a relentless focus on getting it done will tell.